I have known Elba for several years, not nearly as I would have liked. Did you notice that she was always hugging these guys?
She gave the best hug.
She was a good hugger. But enough I knew about her to know that she was surely a gift from heaven. But as is her wife, she does not reside here anymore. She has no pain, she has no sin, she has no tears, and she is walking and I'll bet talking with her Jesus right now. I imagine she's young again. I imagine she's dancing, singing, rejoicing, filled with hope and grace and love, all the good stuff that we want. As I was preparing my little message here, I was wondering, maybe she met my dad. He was my hero before he passed away. He loved Jesus too. He was my hero, just like Ola was your hero. I have old friends, a couple old friends that are buried in a cemetery right next to my house. Yes, I have very quiet neighbors. And it's a big cemetery, and so a couple of years ago, when I used to jog, I would jog each morning through the cemetery, and I would stop at certain points when I got winded. And I would think about these two particular people. I would always stop at their grave sites, and I would pray, not for them, because I knew where they were. They were with Jesus. But I would pray for their family. I wasn't sad when I cried for them, because, like I said, I knew where they were. I was just sad because I missed them. I would think about the lessons they taught me about our interactions. And then I got lazy and I stopped jogging. I've got to get back up there. But I always knew that they weren't here anymore. This wasn't their home. Their home was somewhere else. When I would jog in that graveyard, and I would get winded at certain points and take a breather, I always had certain spots that I kind of picked out. One of them was the spot where there was this nice metal bench. And so I would jog up to that point and I would just kind of sit down, take a breather. And the grave site was immaculate. Always new flowers, always, it was just a beautiful, beautiful grave site, I guess if you can say that. And it had the girl's picture on it. Her name was Jessica. And she had passed away at 18. And so one day, as I finished my jog and I was coming back to my house, there was a man that was tilling the soil in front of her grave. And so I stopped and I said, "Oh, do you know Jessica?" He looked at me like I had 4 heads and he said, "Yeah, I'm her father." And I went, "Oh." I said, "I'm really sorry that she passed away, but I just want to let you know, I'm praying for you for a long time, so it's nice to have a face to pray for." And again, he kind of looked at me like I was some nut. And he still looked so perplexed. I mean, he was speechless. But you know, I know that she didn't reside there anymore. I buried my father 15 years ago. I haven't visited the gravesite since. Not because I have remorse, but just because I know he's not there. I know where he is. And he's in here. Mankind has a tough time with death because we see it as an end instead of a bump in the road to eternity. But that is if, of course, if you have a relationship with Jesus Christ and are part of his kingdom, as Elba fully understood. Yet many of us still plan as if death in this world won't come. But it will. And it does. And we can't stop that. And then there is eternity. Man proposes. He says, I'll do this and I'll do that. And then plans without the inclusion of God in those plans. And that's just plain dumb. We presume we have all the time in the world, but we don't know. Tomorrow, we could turn around, walk across the street, get hit by a car, and we're gone. And then we start eternity. But God disposes. He determines when time is up, when he wants a person to go home with him. It's not up to us to decide. It's his decision, and it's based on his wisdom. There is no certain unknown that people often do not consider into their life equation. No one is guaranteed a future. Tomorrow is a gift. But foolish men and foolish women still plan without including God in their future plans. Now, Elba didn't. She didn't. She knew. We call that wisdom. And there's a few things that I just want to go over. There is, number one, the complexity of life. Think about all that we're involved with during our regular day. Paying bills, making money to live, raising kids. And today it's even weirder. I have 5 kids that are all home. They shouldn't be all home. 23, 22, 21, 18, and 16 and a half. Okay, I'll take the teens. The other ones, they should be out. My wife and I, when we were 17, we left for college. We never came back. I thought that's the way it was going to be. I'm just kidding. Of course, I feel blessed. Not always. But as my friend pointed out, Dave, you are blessed that they're all home. Thank you, COVID. But things happen that we are unexpected, and we are often forced to change our plans on the run. Life is complex. It's complex. There's just no, especially today, especially what we're dealing with right now. Life is complex, and it rarely fits into a tight, secure, predictable pattern. The second thing is that there's the uncertainty of life. Proverbs 27:1 says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what that day might bring forth." Isn't that the truth? Life is uncertain to us, but it isn't to God. Only when we are following what He is directing us to do can we be confident of tomorrow, because we know He's leading us. And the truth is, even if the thing takes an unexpected turn, we will know and believe He is in control of the events. See, Elma understood that. She got that. And then there's the brevity of life. To us, it seems long. We measure it in years. Do you realize that the fact is that we created time? That to God, time does not exist. It's only with us. But we compare God to eternity, where time has no meaning and it has no power. Time has no bearing or control over us. And just think, Elba is living in eternity. Time has no bearing on her. Our life might be 80 years if we're lucky, 90 if we're doing great. My mom is going to turn 100 this year. I think she's just a freak of nature. But compared to eternity, that is just a vapor. It's just a breath. Imagine a line that has no beginning, has no end, and there's a little dot. Oops, that's your life. The psalmist in Psalms 90:12, he tells us some good advice. He says, "Teach us to number our days aright, that we might gain a heart of wisdom." Time is short, and we have to make the most of the time that we have. Elba did. Yet, are we going to mess up? Yes. Because we're humans. But she got right back on the horse. Right? She got right back in line. Okay, Jesus. And that's what we got to do. And then there's the fragility of life, that no matter how good somebody has it in life, no matter how much money and relationships and popularity, life still remains fragile for them, just as it is for us. No one is immune to this fact. Life is fragile. Life is fragile because we can't control the future, nor do we have the ability to hold it back, or even the wisdom to see what's coming up around the corner. It's like going through the jungle without a GPS, or out on the ocean without a compass. I don't know if you've been out on the ocean without a compass, but that's a scary thing. I've been there for a little while, until a boat came out to help us. But it's scary when you're sitting there going, shoot, do I go right? Do I go left? Do I go straight? Do I go back? I don't know. We get so hung up on the future that we let the now go by. And tomorrow is so very fragile. Don't leave for tomorrow what you can do today. And I'm not referring about tasks. Well, that's probably a good mantra too. I'm kind of lazy, so it probably should be my mantra. But I'm referring to things like the kind words you wanted to say, but you never did. Or the forgiveness that you wanted to give, but you never did. Or that grace that you needed to receive or give, but you haven't yet. The love that you held back because you didn't get what you expected. So you held it back. That thank you that you thought, but just not got around to saying. Life is fragile. Warren Wiersbe, a noted pastor, he once shared an experience. He was going through a cave, and he said that there was a maze with numerous tunnels, and that there was it was incredibly dark. And I don't know if you've ever been in a cave, that caves are really, really dark. And there's bats flying around. I mean, it can be a scary place. And they got to what they called was Pulpit Rock, and the guy in charge of the tour, he gave I'm going to call it a five-word sermon to his group that he was leading. And he said, stay close to your guide. Life is complex, it's uncertain, it's brief, it's fragile. Handle with care and with an attitude of humility, and for goodness sakes, stay close to your guide. It just makes good sense, doesn't it? Elba did it. We rarely regret the good things that we have done, but we almost always regret the good things we wanted to do, but never had the time, or so we thought. God wants us to include Him in our plans because He knows the future. He wants what's best for us. His will for us is not to give us lives of torture and regret and drudgery, just the opposite. He wants to make them fulfilling and exciting and effective so that we can dance. So that we can say in our hearts, I have run the good race and finished my course. Elba was able to say that, knowing that she made an impact, and unknowing how much of an impact she actually made. She stayed close to her guide. She trusted him. He knew the future better than her. And I'm sure she had moments. I'm sure that there were points where she kind of like got off course a little bit and had to get back on, just like the rest of us. But one thing I do know, that she finished the race and she stayed the course. If you are God's, meaning that you have a relationship with Jesus Christ, nothing can take you away from Him. Elba knew that. Elba believed that. Elba lived that. And she died in that. And that was her foundation. And I'm sure today, she would say, if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, what are you waiting for? You don't have to be a perfect person. You just have to ask Him into your life. You don't have to change. You just have to ask Him into your life. He does all that. He does the changes. He makes the difference. Elba knew that. Elba got that. Elba experienced that. And that's why we celebrate her life here today. Because He did something with her that she could have never done on her own. And he's not the kind of God that is forcing himself into your heart and into your life. He knocks at the door and waits for you to open it. And then he gives you this gift, this incredible gift of eternity in his kingdom forever. Forever. And it's dirt free because he already paid for it. And that's what we're celebrating here. Each week we celebrate communion. And we celebrate the fact that God has knocked on our door and given us this gift of his kingdom. When we receive him into our hearts, and it's free. That's what the cross represents to us, because the cross is where he paid it all. So as we share communion, remember that gift, and I implore you, if you don't know him, it's not a big deal. But invite him in. Open the door. Ask him into your life. No, I'm not asking you to be a religious nut. I'm just saying start a relationship with Jesus Christ, because that's what Elva would have wanted. And does want. Before we share communion, let me just pray. Father, we just thank you for your word. And we thank you for our dear friend and mother and grandmother. And what a woman you made. And we thank you that she gave her life to you and that you did something extremely significant with it. And we just pray, Father, that you would do the same in us.